Next up, McAlpine.
I even feel like the economics ball's been getting kicked down the table towards me. Somebody else was talking about the economics, right? Okay, let me talk about a wee bit of economics. I wasn't going it, but I'll do a wee bit of economics. But on the other hand, you look quite a decided audience as far as I can tell, so I'll maybe spend not too long trying to persuade you. But this is the trick, this is the thing that fixes Scotland. It's got nothing to do with everything they talk about at Westminster and everything to do with wages. That at its heart is the answer for everything that Scotland needs. We have an unproductive economy because we built an economy which is useful for people who like to steal parts of other people's economy. Whether they're corporations, whether they're banks, whether they're big property developers, whether they're advertising companies or marketing agencies, whether they're people that buy up the natural resources and exploit them for their use, the bloody whisky industry. We created a UK economy which is brilliant at looking at whatever money's in the economy and grabbing it by a few. What we didn't do was create an economy which made things, built things, used things. Why is that important? Because when you do these extracting things, these wealth extracting things like building supermarkets and just giving planning permission to the big developers so they control all of that, when you do that, there's no skill involved. There's no skill in making that money. To get rich in Britain, you start with money and you buy 10 houses. Wait, that's how you get rich in Britain. What pays money, what pays wages is skills. Skilled work creates wages. Productive work creates wages, and it's wages that create what you need in your economy. Because rising GDP never made people wealthier. Never. Rising GDP makes owners happier. There's only one thing that ever makes people wealthier, and that's rising wages. And that's the one thing that Britain doesn't do. Now, how do we fix that? Okay, it's fairly straightforward. Actually, no, if we're going to do economics, it looks like I'm going to do economics now. Okay, if we have that, if we have this higher wage economy, that's great. People are better off. So that's kind of a nice, right? But no, because it's fundamentally at the heart of all the other problems that we have. We've got a paper on the website, allthisfirst.org in the library, and what we did was we took the UK tax, well, the Scottish tax model. So this is the computer program which would calculate the tax returns in Scotland. What we did with it was not change the size of the GDP, the size of the economy. We didn't change any of the tax rates or any of the base rates, anything at all. All we did was we took the spread of incomes in the Scottish tax model and changed it and altered it so that it had the spread of incomes that you would get in a Nordic economy. So much flatter, not so much rich at the top, no poverty from the middle all the way down, and much more people, many more people working. When we did that, we ran the tax model again, and it generated £4 billion of additional tax income without changing tax rates. We don't have a problem in this country of our taxes being too high. We don't have a problem in this country of our public services being too expensive. We have a fundamental problem in this country of low wages, not enough money in people's pockets. If there's not money in people's pockets, they can't pay their tax. About 50-something% of the population in Scotland take more out in tax credits and public services than they're able to pay in. And the Tories think this is a criticism of them. It's not. It's a criticism of us who allowed an economy to be created in which people live in poverty even when they work. And so, if you look at I think two key numbers that will give you a sense of how far we've gone wrong in Britain. The average salary in Scotland is £25,000 a year. The average salary of the poorest 10% of the population is about £6,000 a year. Now, we can't do direct comparisons because many things are different, but in Norway, to give you an indication of what it could look like, their average salary is £45,000 a year, and the salary of the poorest 10% of the Norwegian working population is £25,000 a year. Their poorest 10% earn the same amount as the average of our entire working population because they make things, they build things, they do things, and where there's national wealth, national assets, natural resources that should belong to the people, they use them to benefit the people. Obviously in the case of oil, but just as obviously in the case of land, where it's normal for a Norwegian to own land. It's normal for a small enterprise to be able to exploit the land, to work it and to use it to create wealth. It's normal for local economies to be strong, not just big corporate economies plonked just outside your town, enough to kill your high street with the low paid jobs that they bring with you. It's normal for their society to function in a way that makes people wealthier, not owners. So that's the economics. All we have to do is create that high-wage economy. How are we going to do it? Right, well, let me do the wee bit I was probably going to do when I came in, which was, let's change it up with thinking about the after this. Because we started this project, the Commonweal Project. It's an organisation, the Commonweal. I won't talk about it just now because we're going to be doing so much after this referendum. One thing that's absolutely essential to me is that once this is over, we can never let it all go back in the box. I can promise you that in every political party there's always someone in pinstripes that would like a movement, a people's grassroots movement to get the hell back into a box. So we're going to see what we can do to make sure that doesn't happen. Hopefully I'll come up and tell you all about that sometime, maybe December or January. But before then, Commonweal, you can get all the details on the website, all this first in the books there. We can start to do stuff fast. One of the messages that came out of this project, this piece of work, which started off as 6 papers, we said we were going to do 6 papers, and then almost overnight it was 30 as people phoned us up and said, can I contribute this, can I give you this? It's now nearly 60, and it's rising all the time. This is a country alive with thinking, alive with people who want to think. Absolutely first-rate academics and thinkers and writers and activists and practitioners who are telling us how to change our country. And it's very easy, because our country is so rich in assets, in people, in natural resources, in geostrategic position, everything. We have so much in Scotland, we just squander it. We don't use it properly. We live on the edge of one of the biggest deserts in Europe. Our north is virtually dead, its land is dead, it's not used, it's not lived in. All of that because it's easier for David Cameron's father-in-law to buy 40,000 acres and keep it as a speculative investment. And the one thing you don't do with a speculative investment is let the oiks on it. So we can do this because we have all this material. And we had this project, I've got my 1 minute, we had this project and we didn't have a name for it. And we put it all together and the name came out as Commonweal, Wealth Shared in Common for the Well-being of All. And as we were nearly there, as it was starting to work, I was just watching the Ken Loach film, The Spirit of 45. And part of me felt a bit bad. Part of me looked at it and thought, my God, this is all just plagiarism. Creating a society which looks after each other, creates social security, creates an economy that works for all, that creates public services which protect the most vulnerable and lift everybody up. This is all we want. This is all Scotland's wanted from the beginning. And we voted again and again. Oh God, spare me from one more bloody pollster telling us that we're not different. Stop measuring the size of our souls, stop looking in our eyes and telling us who we are, and start accepting the decisions that we make. Because when we go to the ballot box, we vote for a better society, for a social democratic society, and I don't care what your social attitude surveys say. And so, these are a lot of things that we've got. We've got the resources, the people and the assets, the materials from which we can build this better country. It's all there, nobody denies that. We've got the ideas, the thinking, the people to create it, the drive to do it. There's no question that's there, nobody denies that's there. And we've got the will to do it, the desire to do it, the public, general, shared belief that this is our future, this is our direction, and this is what we want. To have the things to build something from, to have the knowledge of how to build it and have the will to do it. That's a hell of a lot. That's a hell of a lot for any country to start with. It's more than we need. In fact, we should be positively guilty about how damn lucky we are to begin this new journey. And you know what? When we look at this riches and when we look at what we've got, we can do, and we look each other in the eyes and stand up and we've said yes, and we've said, right, we're ready, let's get on with it now. When we do that, all I can say is the spirit of 45 is going to be peanuts compared to the spirit of 15.
Okay, we're going to keep the kettle boiling, Christopher.